Hi there everyone, back with another video, and in this video we will be learning the next topic in JavaScript. It's all about date objects. So in this video we'll learn all about date objects, beginning with creating a date object or creation of data objects with the help of date constructor in JavaScript. So after learning how to create data objects, we'll learn to pass parameters to this date constructor in JavaScript. So again, there is a lot of combinations in passing parameter to this date objects. So we'll be learning few of them, and after learning this we'll learn still more in depth about data objects. It's all about date methods, which is related to setting a date. So after doing with the construction of the data objects and passing parameters, let's set some custom date to that date object, right? So this is one of the way to learn everything in this date object. So similarly, after learning about date methods, which is setting a date in JavaScript, we'll reverse it, which is again getting the date object. So after setting all of the date parameters to this date constructor, will display or get the date according to our needs, like getting the hour, getting the day, month and year, and so on and so forth, right? So we'll get some date according to our needs with the help of getting uh, a date methods in JavaScript. So this is basically a overview of this video. So we'll learn all of these four concepts in this video related to data objects. So now guys, let's start doing the stuff in JavaScript. And so far we have learned number, string and boolean and arrays, and now we will be learning about date objects in JavaScript. Again, it is a built-in data object. So now the simple step to create a date object is create a variable called as something like date, and have a new operator and have a date constructor like this. That's it. So now if I do something called as, if you console that log the date, it will be today's date. So today's date is again December 19, 2020, and now the time is this. Again, remember it is printing your system date, which is in IST. So again, it is giving you the GMT format, which is GMT plus 053 means blah 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 of that. And again, it is a system date. Remember, if you just create this date object with the date constructor, it will be current system date and time. That's it. So now what if I do something like passing parameters to this date constructor? So now if I do something like, let me say 2020 January 1st and January 1st, right? So this is the date, I mean the month, I'm sorry, this is the year, month and date, right? So now if I just refresh, and we got that, right? So January 1st 2020, and as you can see it's giving me a default time. So I'm not concerned about time over here, but I'm just concerned about the date, right? So similarly, if I do something like, instead of giving a numerical date format, I can also give English statements like this: January 13th 2014, and as well as the timings of that, right? So if I just save that, and you can notice that you got that date, right? So similar date that we have specified over here, right? So it's a Monday. So January 13th and 2014 is a Monday, and you got the time as well, right? So this is the string format of passing a parameter to this date constructor. So now the craziest thing over here is, if I just pass something like 0 over here, what it will print. So guys, guess again, what will it be printing over here? It's not the current date, right? So it's printing Thursday, which is January 1st, 1970, right? So please be noted here, if you pass something like 0, it is a millisecond. It's not in the format of a string. You are passing a parameter to this date constructor, which is a numerical value, so it is a millisecond. So if you just pass a zero, you are passing a millisecond. So since you are passing millisecond, you need to get some default date to add 0 millisecond to that default date, right? So the default date is this. So you are adding 0 millisecond to this default date, right? So default date is always January 1st, 1970, right? So if I just do something like we have 1000 millisecond, and if I just add it, multiply that to 60 is how much? Let me check it out here. It is 1 minute, right? So 60 seconds in the form of millisecond will be the this calculation, and we got that, right? So 531, right? So we have incremented it by 1 minute, right? So if I just do something like into 5 minutes, right? So you will be getting 535, right? Boom, we got that, right? So this is again, guys, note that you're passing in the form of a millisecond to this January 1st, 1970 default value. So it's gonna add this millisecond which you have passed to this parameter to this date, right? So now similarly I will just do something like let me say 2020 comma 01 and 23. I'm sorry, it's not, I guess 0, it's 1. Okay, let me check it over here. And it's printing something like this, right? So February 23, 2020. I don't know why it's giving me 0. Let me pass it as 0, and I guess it should be January, right? So yeah, so 0 is the month, which is January, and this is the year, and this is the date, right? So similarly, you can have 11, which is December, and you got the deck over here for 2020, 23 as its date, right? So you can also pass this parameters individually to this date constructor as well. So now, since we have set all of this date, and let me do some displaying those dates back into the console. Not the standard date. I will just say get, let me say month. So I just need to get this date's month. So what's the date month? It's 11, which is December, right? So similarly, I can say get a date. That's it. So if I just refresh, you will be getting 3, which is the date of this date. And if I just change it to get let me say hours, it will be printing the hour, which is 0, because we haven't set any hour for this date, so it will be obviously 0. So now if I just change it to get hours to, let me say, a full year, so it's gonna print full year, which is 2020, right? So this is how you can, again, guys, there is a lot of methods related to data objects. So you just can google it, you will be getting all of a huge number of date methods in JavaScript. So I have just explained you a few of them. So now what I'm gonna do, I will be printing, instead of printing, I'll just change this number using some set method. So I'll just say date dot set let me say hours. So I'll just set the hours, and I will just set the hours to, let me say, 11. I don't know what that 11 means. I'll just console it and let's check it out. So I think it will add 11 hours to this date. So yeah, date, let me refresh this, and you got that, right? So 11 hours. So similarly, you can have set hours, and you can also have set month for an example. So since the month is 11, which is December, let me change this to February, which is 1, and you got the Feb, right? So you can, again, guys, you can set the month, and you can also set the date like this with the cap D over here. I'm sorry, Yeah, cap D, and the date will be 1 instead of 23. And you got that right, so December 1. So yes guys, this is all about the set date and setting the date after creating the date method. I mean, not method, object. So setting the date object and getting the date objects, and we have learned so many examples over here in this video. And I hope that this video helps you and helped you. And yeah, let me see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.